Welcome to our business webinar program presented by Bank of America. Today's session is called Optimize Your Offering, and we will learn how to set and bundle your services or products, increase customer lifetime value, streamline processes, and really get clear on your goals. I'm Desiree Brown, Senior Manager of Digital Education and Content here at the Tory Burch Foundation. I'm so excited to be here with our incredible speaker, Alison Taylor. Alison is actually returning to our series, and she is the founder of Augur, a business design and strategy studio. Uh, Alison is also an executive in residence at the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator and various Techstar accelerators. So you are all in great hands as far as having a great coach and mentor on today to talk to us about really honing in on your operations and all of your offerings. So after Alison's presentation, we will have plenty of time for Q&A. So be sure to ask your questions in the Q&A box, and we will get to as many as we can. We encourage you, again, to take notes. And as a reminder, today's session will be recorded, so please watch your inboxes for the replay link. And with that, I will let Alison take it from there. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Desiree. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you and be back with the Tory Burch Foundation, supporting brilliant founders and entrepreneurs and women in everything they do. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So we're here to talk about how you are going to optimize your offerings. So what we're going to cover today is a brief introduction about myself, go over the importance of optimization. We'll talk about when to optimize, why to optimize, how to optimize. I'll walk you through a brief 6-step process on what you can do to optimize your offerings for both product and service-based businesses, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So with that being said, hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Alison Taylor. I'm a designer, strategist, and I believe in taking a design as a discipline approach to innovation in everything that we do. So for me, I believe that everything that we utilize has been designed by someone somewhere, either incredibly well or incredibly poorly, and more often than not, towards the latter. So with that, I work at the intersection of operations and design. So I take my background as a classically trained designer who happens to work in the medium of business. And with over 10 years of working in the innovation space across different sectors like hospitality, gaming, design, architecture. I've worked in marketing, events, both at multinational behemoth corporations, startups, and small medium enterprises. For the last 5 years, I've been running Augur, which is a business design and strategy studio based in Los Angeles, California, while I myself reside right outside of Barcelona, Spain.
Alison, just really quickly,
Yes.
We can see your notes.
Oh,
So yeah, if you want to just
oh,
change your settings real quick. Thank you.
yes, thank you. Okay, this work?
Yep, looks great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yep, thank you. So with that, I focus on the realms of for-profit social enterprise. I work with clients who are doing wonderful and brilliant things to solve some of the world's most wicked problems. This is benefit, purpose, or mission-driven work. So there's a question out here that exists. Why is this important? Why do you want to optimize your offerings? Well, it's about staying focused and knowing where you're at in order to inform exactly where you're going to go by setting clear goals and working towards them. When you know exactly what you do and where your company excels, you can stay in your zone of genius. And that means you're going to be able to fulfill a need or a problem for your customer segments. And the ability to transform your offerings by bundling them together to meet your customers at every stage of their journey will allow you to do more, work smarter without having to work harder. So let's think about this in terms of experience. You get to design the experience for your customers and for your company. It is all about how you want things to be, how you want to show up, and how you want to experience your offerings. So, as a business owner, there are some very key actionable goals that we want to think about. Building systems and developing processes that are going to allow you to spend less time working in your business and then working on your business. So you can think of this as, when would you want to optimize your offerings? Well, maybe you're experiencing a season of change, right? You have more capacity or you have less capacity. You're having growth, you're getting more clients, you're getting more traction, you're attracting more market share and more opportunities are coming to you. Or you're starting to make new hires. So you really need to standardize your operations because you're going to be delegating. There's going to be people who are out here doing the work that they need to do, and you don't have the time to be micromanaging or looking over their shoulder at every moment. You need to make sure that you train them up, have them do what they need to be able to do, and then send them on their way. After that, you want to have a relevant number of clients that have validated your offering in the market, right? So it's your proof of concept. They're paying for it. Maybe you've received revenue. Maybe you're getting grants or other programming. You want to know that what you're doing already works. And then you already have some sort of systems or processes in play. You know how you're developing your offerings. You know how you go through your sales cycle. You know the collateral and deliverables that you put together for your customers. So, when you're thinking about optimizing, you don't want to make the strategy that you have too complex that you're not going to be able to implement it by yourself. A lot of times at these earlier stages in business, you might be a solo founder or working with teams of one or two. Maybe you've got some contractors, potentially you've got some interns, or maybe you've got volunteers or other individuals who are helping you out. But you tend to be responsible for driving all of the decisions. And instead of making something that's so many pieces, that's so big, you want to say, how do I keep this simple? Something that's scalable, something that's repeatable that I can do of my own accord. So, with that, we want to think about why you would optimize your offerings. Well, this is going to allow you to set boundaries on how you work in order to better manage your time, energy, and your efforts. Rather than recreating some new opportunities for every single client or customer you have, you're going to show up and say, this is what I know to do. And since you've validated it in the market, you have repeatable results. You know what you can get for your customers. You know the transformations that you will have for them, how they go from A to Z by utilizing your product or your services. And it's repeatable. And now you want to be able to better manage your time and leverage that energy and focus to other things that you may be doing. Maybe you've got growth plans, maybe you've got expansion plans, maybe you want to open up a new product or service vertical, or maybe you just want more time for enjoying your life outside of the work that you do. So, with this, it's all about designing a path that is going to alleviate overwhelm and confusion for you. How are you going to optimize your offerings? Well, first and foremost, it looks like knowing what you excel in. What are the successes and outcomes that you bring to your customers and the work that you enjoy? You could use a tool like the business model canvas to get there and help you refine your offerings even further. I did a previous training on using the business model canvas, so you can go to the Tory Burch Foundation YouTube page and you can find that under business models for social good. Now, providing a tailored solution to your customer's specific problems or needs. This is saying you're not having your folks come in and ask as a short order cook. You're not creating new custom offers at every single stage. You're saying, I know exactly the problems that you have. I'm very clear, or the needs that you have for it, and I'm here to alleviate that or fulfill those needs for you. And you're going to craft these offers that are going to nest and fit into one another to meet your customers at specific points within their journey of how you're going to be working with them. Think of this like Russian nesting dolls, right? You've got one small offering that fits inside another offering, that fits inside another offering, that fits inside of another offering. And that way, you're looking at creating a bundle or creating a package of the work that you already do to accommodate and do more for your clients depending upon where they're at in the journey with you or for themselves. So, how do you think about staying unstuck, right? You're like, okay, I'm doing this. How do I keep going? How do I grow? Well, you love the problem, and you become deeply curious about the way you can present the solution to it. Falling in love with your customer's problem or your need, not exactly the solution that you provide, because there's going to be various ways of providing solutions. So that will allow you to refine, tweak, or pivot in order to provide the greatest value possible to your customers. And if you enjoy doing it, that's what we mean by working in your zone of genius, you're going to have the opportunity to say, here's what the market needs, and I know exactly what I can provide. You are coming as the expert. You are coming as the authority. You are coming and saying, I've seen what exists out here, and here is exactly how I can help you because I recognize the problems and challenges that you face, or I recognize the needs that you have in your day to day life, whatever it may be. So, if you had to think about this, what are the top three things that you or your company does best? What would it be? What are your top selling products? What are your top requested services? What are the ones that you know out of 100 different things you could offer? These are the three that are really going to see the furthest results for our folks that we want to be in service of. So, a quick how to. You're going to look at this, right? We just talked about falling in love with your customer's problem and need. Then you're going to get clear on your business identity and zones of genius. From there, you'll define and offer your offerings and your models for your business and any product or service that you have or platform. You'll be setting SMART goals for quarterly and annual metrics so that you understand exactly what you're driving to. From those goals that you set, you're going to identify and map strategic initiatives that will keep you moving in that direction. No wasted energy, no wasted efforts. From there, once you have those initiatives, it's not enough to make them, we have to prioritize them. Understanding and determining what it is that you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and what are the resources that you need in order to accomplish that. Then from there, you go out and you experiment, you implement, you refine, and you repeat. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Defining offerings for a beginner, intermediate, and advanced stage of your customers. Customers are going to have varying need levels. And when you think about how you can meet them, where are they coming into their journey? Is this early stage in a problem, or is this an early stage need in which maybe they need some light touch assistance before they go into really deep overhauls of strategy or buying large suites of products? Maybe they're working in the middle and they're saying, hey, we need a little bit more help. We need a little bit more support. We need something that's more robust for us. Maybe we've got a larger team. Maybe we have greater demands. Maybe we have more offerings that we need to have managed and controlled within the purview. And then you might find folks at advanced stages where they're asking for large amounts of help. They need maybe more programmatic structures than small bite-sized pieces or projects that you can work on. So then make it clear for your customers exactly what you can do for them and their specific profile. Don't be shy. You want to write all of this information down. The type of customers that you want to be working with, the type of customer archetypes or profiles that you have for who is going to be utilizing what you have to offer. And that might be different from the person who's going to be purchasing it or sell or buying what has the power to buy what you're selling. And you should be talking to them that you have a tested solution that provides repeatable results for what they require or they desire. You give them what they need for the transformation that they seek. But while this may be custom to them, it is within your wheelhouse of repeatable, scalable, already defined offerings that has the highest impact and value that you can offer for them. And so then you're going to want to think about going deep rather than going broad. It's kind of the quickest thing to think, okay, I want to capture this market. So let me go and invent a whole bunch of new things to go and satisfy them when you've got really brilliant offerings at home and you just have to think about how you're going to restructure them or how you're going to repackage them or how you're going to create tiers of features or benefits for people at varying needs and stages. So you can think of this as an appetizer, main course, and dessert, maybe. Or if you're in Spain and you're looking for a menu of the day, maybe there's a beverage included. By transforming these offerings, you have a focus on the ones that, when coupled, can provide the greatest value and expand and contract without you having to constantly think of something new. So, for example, imagine you had a language coaching business and you do one-to-one work with clients. This is super, super high touch, custom, where you're tailoring the body of work or each lesson or session to their specific needs and interests. But you're working with the CFRE framework, which is the um, European framework for language development between levels A1 to C2, which are beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And from there, you've already got a body of materials that you're working with, and you're just taking them out here and there. So you decide that you want to start optimizing your time and not just selling that one-to-one experience, but you want to do less high touch work that still has high impact. So you decide that you're going to take all of those materials that you have for that one-to-one work and you're going to bundle it and you're going to create a cohort model. So you make a content library. Maybe you create some presentations, you use some voiceover slides, you standardize what you're going to utilize so that you can be in service of more people at once. And then instead of doing one-to-one meetings with them specifically, you're able to do smaller sessions or group sessions where instead of working 10 hours a week on one-to-one meetings, maybe you've got 2 or 3 hours a week of group touch meetings. Then from there, you decide, oh, well, these specific learners, maybe they want to get a Cambridge Advanced certification, or maybe they're looking for a TESOL certification. So they have a hyper specific need. You can take those materials and say, I'm going to create a 13-week cohort for a Cambridge Advanced certification or a TESOL certification. And so you now have something that you can offer to them that says, here's what we're going to work through. And yet, even more, you say, I'm going to create a 2-day advanced workshop for them. It's going to be an intensive. And so you're going to take, again, all of those materials that you've already had and you're repackaging them to create workbooks that are going to help people go for whatever level it is that they're looking to accomplish. And this is something that you can use time and time and time again. But that's not enough because you've now taken the consulting work that you do and the information that you have, and you've standardized the process, and you're not creating anything new, you're just showing it in a different way. You can take those materials and those worksheets or the templates that you've created for your folks as they're in your courses or in your one-to-one sessions, and you can now sell them as digital products, right? Or use them as a lead generator. So again, it's something to get out to people, and those folks might be at an earlier beginning stage. They may not have the time, or they may not be at the level where they're quite ready to engage you for your help on a one-to-one level, but they're happy to buy your guides. They're happy to buy your books. They're happy to buy these pieces and do some of that work by themselves until they get the confidence or maybe the cash flow to invest in themselves and move on. So that's a way that you can think about baking these buildable, tailored solutions that go deep rather than broad. It wasn't like we said, okay, we're going to create all of these brand new things. No, we took what was existing, what you know works well for your learners, and you decide to repackage it in a way that can speak to very specific needs of people at different moments within their journey of working with you. So, getting crystal clear on your business model. Like I said before, I did a training on this business model canvas. But the reason I love this tool is because it will talk about every single aspect of what you're doing, from the customers of who you're in service of, to the sales, marketing, and distribution channels of how you're going to be meeting and communication with them, to the types of relationships that they want to have with you. Do they want to see you all the time? Do they want one person to always talk to? Are they a little bit more hands off, DIY? They just want to fill out a form on a website? The different value propositions that you have to the different customer segments that you are in service of. You talk about the key activities that you must do to maintain your operations and deliver that value to your customers. The partnerships that you are in service of or engaged in that will help you to create the resources or do what you need to do in order to deliver that value. And then the resources that you need in order to execute on them, whether they're human, intellectual, personal, physical, financial. And then we talk about the way you're going to make money in your revenue streams as well as your cost structures. So with this, you can use it to think about your business as a whole to refine it and get even more crystal clear. But you can also think about it as you're going to take those individual offerings, whether it's a product or service that you have, and as you're going to bundle them together and create something new from what's existing, you can be able to answer these same exact questions utilizing this. It's a very, very powerful tool. So we've thought about these big pieces. The first half is just about knowing what you do, being crystal clear on it, and deciding that you have a problem. There are customers that have a problem that you're going to be in service of, or they have a need that you're going to fulfill. Now what? You go ahead and you create SMART goals and build strategic initiatives that are in support of them. We want to see annual goals. So these are the overarching 3 to 5 goals of what you're working on this year. What is the big vision that you have for yourself? And then each quarter, how can you break those big goals into smaller ones that are going to continue to have you moving in the right direction? Then within that, you want to understand, right? What's the impact that you aim to achieve with this? So you'll go from there, you'll develop your strategic initiatives, and then you'll say, well, what are we going to do first? And why are we going to do it? So you will have a prioritization matrix, which is an incredible tool that is going to help you figure out and rank your initiatives based on various criteria, like the impact that they'll have, the feasibility for you to carry that out, as well as time it will take and cost. One of the most important things that people overlook oftentimes is what are the things that I'm going to need? What are the resources I'm going to need? And what are the costs of me going and doing this? The hope is that no, you can use your existing resources and leverage those and put things out. But maybe you need to update certain subscriptions. Maybe you need to get on different platforms. Maybe you need to do a couple of these pieces. Maybe you need to hire some folks or building collateral or whatever it may be. So with that, once you're done, you're going to deliver your offerings to your clients. You're going to update all of your communications and your collateral to let people know that this is available to them. So you're not saying, hey, fire sale, we're doing all of this. People know what to come to you for. And you're going to say, here's the specific offerings that I have for you. They are tested, they are true, they are data driven or data informed. And let us make a transformation from where you're at to where you want to be. So here's a brief example of some templates that I have for you. When we're looking at strategic initiatives, you can see over here, this is for a product-based company. So they want to launch a sustainable line of swimwear. You want to launch some new products. What is the objective, right? The main goal, supporting launching new products. What's the description of it? You want to make sure that you're designing and producing and marketing eco-friendly fashion items. The impact that you're hoping that it's going to have is that it's going to increase your brand awareness. Now, you know what you're going to do. So what do you need to do it? Well, you're going to have a design team. You're going to need someone who does marketing for you. You're going to need someone who does production and manufacturing. Your team members involved, whether they're within your own team or if they're partners that you're working with or vendors or third-party suppliers, might be the CEO, who might be yourself. Maybe you're working with a designer or a marketer. And how much time is it going to take in order to get this together? 15 hours. Maybe that's in total, maybe that's across the board, maybe that's just for the phase. But you want to start getting into the granularity of how you're going to be able to do this. It's not enough to just say, I want to repackage these offers. It is, what am I going to do? Who do I need? How much is it going to cost? What kind of time do I have? And from there, you've created these initiatives and then prioritizing them is that working smarter and channeling your energy. So for a service-based company here, we've got an example for a consulting firm for early stage entrepreneurs. They have these initiatives of launching a group coaching program, developing an online course, essentially partnering with industry influencers, creating referral programs, or rebranding their website and marketing. Now, you can see that the impact of this, will this have high or low impact on my business? Will this have high or low effort for me to do? Is there the cost of this? Is it going to be a low cost effort? Is it going to be a high cost effort? Is this something that we can do with the cash in our coffers? Or are we going to need to go out and receive some funds? Maybe we're looking for grants. Maybe we're doing some fundraising. Maybe you're looking for loans or debt financing. And then also feasibility. Can we actually do this? Given the impact that it will have for our business, the effort that it's going to take for us, the costs that are associated with, and most importantly, the time. Is all of this feasible? Is all of this relevant? Can we go ahead and do it? So you'll go through there and you'll make these determinations, and that will help you get clear on exactly what it is that you're going to wind up going and doing as you optimize your offerings, bundling your products, bundling your services, and freeing up more time for the other things that you want to be doing, whether that's within your business or within your life. So I know I gave a lot of information at you, but I figured we'd have a lot more time for Q&A so I can answer some of your specific questions about your business, whether it's product, service based, and how this can apply to you.
Mm, Great. Thank you, Allison. We actually do have some questions coming in. So I think one great one to start with could be someone asked about or asked for some clarification about um, offerings that are customized for the customer, but still within your wheelhouse. Can you expand on that a little bit, please?
Absolutely. So I like to think of folks where within my body of work, sometimes I'm working with early stage entrepreneurs who are looking for a brand new idea. They're like, I want to create a candle company. Great.
Mhm.
I love it. So they're thinking about what it is that they want to do. What kind of candles are you creating? What product line is this, entry level? Is this luxury candles? Is it somewhere in between? What do you want to do? What do you want to go for? The way that I might help them with creating their business model is very different than somebody who's had a candle line for 5 to 7 years. They're facing some stagnant growth, but they are looking for additional support. So I might help someone to create their business model or audit their business model at the outset and define exactly where they are, and then say, okay, well, we've audited where you are. Now let's design a new offering or a new candle line or a new way of getting out there. And they may say, great, we've done that and we want to get even more market share. So we're going to partner with somebody and we're going to create new packages that we're going to send out. So maybe you're a candle company and you decide to work with a ceramicist and you're getting custom made vessels for folks. So I think of people at like different stages for where they're at in terms of what it is that they want to do, what I would give to them. So I could start out with an audit and then I would get into design work. But if you're not at the point where you would need customized design work, then I'm not going to create something new for you. Or you need a whole new strategy. Well, I can take all of the little bits and pieces that I do and offer you a package of a strategy rather than just the audit, rather than just the design work, rather than just the marketing or branding. I can give you all of it and say, here you go, right? So what could have been a $2,500 audit can now become a $15,000 overhaul package or overhaul rebrand or overhaul redesign or something of that nature. So you think about how does it add in, right? If you're at the very earliest stage, what kind of support do you need? If you're in the middle of your journey, what kind of support do you need? And if you're at, a higher end, maybe more enterprise, maybe you've had more time under your belt, there's different services that you're going to need. Maybe you have a team that can implement it, but if you don't have a team there, I can't help you because you don't have the people who can go and disseminate that out. So thinking about it as like the different levels rather than creating something new, I'm just unbundling what I offer to meet people where they're at. There's the full
Mm,
package or there's this piece, right? Make it more a la carte.
Great. Um, and I love that explanation as well as kind of tying in both that um, advice for both a product-based company and then someone who provides services. So we want to touch on something that you said that I think ties really well into a question that came in. We have people on here today who are in the idea stage, right? And you just
Okay.
spoke about how the different needs for different stages. They have a few different pathways to entrepreneurship, but they're not sure which one is the most valuable to pursue. And so my question, or their question rather, is how can they apply the framework early on when they're deciding to take that leap into entrepreneurship?
I love it. This is a great question. I am always going to be a big advocate of customer discovery. So you'll find out what path you should be taking when you're talking to your customers as you understand what it is that they want, what it is that they need, what it is that they have tried or haven't tried. What are they utilizing? What are they not utilizing? That information is going to give you a path forward. So you may say, I, you know, use myself as an example. In the earliest days, I worked a lot with solo entrepreneurs who are really at the earliest idea stage. And I realized for the deep strategy and planning work that I did, they just weren't there quite yet. So I said, okay, well, how can I help them? Maybe it's a checklist. Maybe it's understanding something like the business model canvas. Maybe I just need to give them the basic tools to figure out where they want to be, what they want to do, who they want to be in service of. So at that early stage, what do you like? What don't you like? What is aligned with your personal and professional values? How do you want to show up? Do you want to be working 70, 80, 90 hours a week with folks? Do you want to have really high touch where you're doing kind of custom white glove service? You're with people all the time. Or do you want really low touch? I want to sell some products. I don't want to have to do a lot in terms of the sales cycle. I want people to come to me. Maybe they're doing it themselves. Maybe, I'm not at the farmer's market selling my wares, but I just have, my Instagram site or I have my website and I want people to be going and doing that work from there. So you'll find the way of where you want to be by where your customers are. I think oftentimes we, especially if you're at an idea stage, it's maybe because it's something that you want, or maybe it's a problem that you've experienced. But it's important to know that once you start creating the solution, you stop being your customer, right? You never actually were your customer. So you have to go out and understand what the other people you're in service of are wanting or requiring, and that will actually help best inform where you should be going. But that takes time and trial and error. So do not be afraid of talking to people. If you've got products, go to stores, check out people, see what they're doing, see what kind of buying behaviors they have. If you're in service-based companies, go look on forums, go look for people's questions, actually do primary interviews and figure out, well, what's going on with you? What is it that you need? What are the blockers that you have? And that will help you start to find your sweet spots for where you can make the best transformations or where you can provide the best service or where you can provide the best product possible at that stage of business that you're in.
Great, thank you. So I'm thinking about kind of the balance between the white glove service, or maybe just kind of products. And I think that does tie in well with this question, which is there a framework for deciding how to think about your offerings with the low touch versus high touch, or would a customer need based be I'm sorry, or would a customer needs be a better approach, or basing things on customer needs? Is there a good way to make that decision?
Ooh, okay. So I would think about the overall journey
Mhm.
of where your customer is and where are you fitting in with them. I like to ask people to think about something called the DADA loop, which is data, analysis, decision, or action. Where do you want to be and where do you work? Are you in the raw data gathering stage? Is that where you're working with people, where they're getting the information? Are you working with them in the analysis stage, where they're analyzing the information that they have? Are you working with them in the decision stage, where they've taken the data, they've made the analysis, and now they're making some decisions on what they want to do? Or are you looking to work with them in the action stage, where they've taken all the data, the analysis, the information of the decision, and now they're going and implementing it? So you think about, what do you like to do? The data stage, I think it's fine. I think it's fun. Not really my ministry. I want the teams that I work with to be collecting that data. I really enjoy working in the analysis and the decision stage to say, okay, what are we going to find? What patterns have we seen with the data that we've collected? And what decisions do we want to make from what the information that we now have? But then they go and they do the implementation. They're the ones who are doing the action. So it's about understanding, where do you like to be? That's the zone of genius piece of it. And then to speak to the levels or needs, think about, if your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right?
Mhm.
If you are a little bit hungry, what are you having for breakfast, right? We're breaking the fast. We're maybe not something super heavy. We're getting something light. We're having coffee. Then you're a little bit more hungry in the middle of the day. You've been working, you've been using a lot of brain power, energy, all of this stuff. You need to eat a little bit more to give you some fuel to sustain you for whatever else it is that you're going to do. That's that medium stage, right? Maybe it's a little bit more time consuming, a bit more to make. Then we're thinking dinner, and you're going to go out and you're having this beautiful course meal. There's more need, there's more time, there's more effort, there's more energy that is put into this large dinner. Now, you're going to offer something different for breakfast than you are for somebody at lunch, than you are for somebody at dinner, right? So they need a little bit, they need a snack, they need to break the fast, but not too much. They're looking for something that's going to sustain them, that's going to take them from maybe point B to C. And then it's dinner and they're like, we're ready to eat. We need a lot. We have a lot of people. We've got 15 folks. What can you make? What can you give to us? And so you're providing them with much more. But guess what? The little mini quiche that I had for breakfast was the little mini quiche plus the salad that I gave someone for lunch, was the little mini quiche plus the salad plus the side of bread plus the glass of wine and sparkling water and the antipasti that I gave them for dinner. Right. So I take that little quiche and I can move it along, but I tack some additional things onto it to provide more. But I'm not necessarily creating more. These are all things that I have. So you think of it as like that level of need. What do people need? A lot, a little, something to sustain them, something to get them going, or something to really fill them and fulfill them.
I love the food analogy. I will always love a food analogy. Um, we have someone who would love for you to just go over that data analogy. Sorry, acronym again, please.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So DADA, which is
DADA. Oh, my mistake. Mhm.
yeah, data. So that's the earliest stage. Now, for those of you who are at the very beginning, you are in your own part, the first D of your own data loop. You're collecting data. You're going to help it inform what you're going to do. Like, I'm going to go talk to all these people. I'm going to find out what their needs are, what their likes are, what their wants are, the jobs that they have to do during the course of the day, the transformations that they hope to seek, what's been stopping them from seeing those transformations, what they've tried, what they haven't tried, and all of that. I'm just in this data collection mode. Then you move to analysis. Okay, I've got all this data. I've talked to 10 different people. I've been asking them the same questions. I'm going to start to identify some patterns and analyze this. And this is going to give me some findings and some insights that I can work with. Then you're going to make a decision and say, based upon the data and insights that I have, I've got some hypotheses. I'm going to go test them, validate them, invalidate them. I'm going to make a decision on acting. I could offer them, a 10 pack of colored pencils. I'm like, there's pencils in front of me. I could offer them a 10 pack of colored pencils, or I could make the drawing for them. I've decided that I'm going to take one of two routes, right? I'm either going to have them do it themselves, or I'm going to do it for them. And then there's the action, right? Now I decide I'm going to give you the colored pencils if you're going to do it yourself, or I'm going to say, what is it that you would like for me to draw? What is it you would like for me to make for you? And that's the action that I'm going to take. So you can think of it in those different ways. And then you rinse and repeat, because once you've made an action, there's data and insights that you're going to collect from that. So it starts over. The data that you get from the actions that you just took, you're going to analyze those pieces of information. Oh yeah, this works super well. Oh, you know what? The way that I had this set up for these clients got them a bit confused in terms of the language. I'm going to update and refine the language that I have in the deck or in the pitch or in the documents that I provided for them. Then I'm going to make a decision for the next set of clients that I work with to run through with these updated versions. And that action is going to inform the information that I will get from them. And then rinse and repeat, right? So you're constantly collecting data, you're constantly analyzing it, making a decision about what you want to do from that data, and then going and acting on it. And we do this in our everyday lives all the time, right? You're looking for a parking space. I'm going to go here. What time am I going to go? I know it's late and easier at this point in time. Find a parking space. Am I going to park close? Am I going to park far? Or am I going to find the first space I get? I know I'm going to go here. Then I decide to park far and then I make the action. Okay, there's a bunch of parking spaces over here. I've looked at everything. Park over here. Go do what I'm going to do. Like it exists in every facet of what we do. We're hardwired for it.
So my follow-up question then
Yes.
is what is the balance of being data informed, but not following that data so much that your focus completely shifts?
Ooh. Do you want your focus to shift? Right. Like, what are you using that data to inform you of? If the data is showing that there's a problem, then yeah, you should probably take that insight and make some sort of decision and act on it. Um, but if it's showing you that it's working, then don't change anything, right? If you've got some sort of new change, if you've made some sort of update to your process or something like that, then you make changes, but don't fix what's not broken, you
Great
know?
advice. And so we have some questions about bundles, both for product based and then perhaps for our service entrepreneurs. Do you recommend bundling all of the best sellers together only, or mixing those best-selling items with things that are not moving in the same way?
Ooh. Well, first I would ask, why are they not moving in the same way? The ones that aren't. Is it that they are not giving the transformations that your customer wants or needs? Is it because it's something that's new? Or is it because it's something that mm, not everybody gets? So I would think about where is it within your process? These should be bundling things that you already do, right? So cutting out, trim the fat, right? So if you've got 62 half-baked offerings that you've created for a bunch of different clients, but you don't want to do copywriting anymore, and you don't do sales for folks, and you don't do business development, you only do, brand identity,
Mhm.
brand strategy, and visual design, then package that, right? Say, I can give you a full rebrand, I could give you a brand refresh, or I could create a new logo for you. You're going to create a new logo if you're going to do a rebrand. You're going to create a new logo if you're going to do a brand refresh. So you're thinking about the base level of what I would do, and then you package it with the other stuff. So you build onto it. But
Right.
I wouldn't package something in there that doesn't move just to get rid of it. If you're in the product business, have a sale. Have an end of season sale. Move that product and never make it again, you know? But with your best sellers, these should be the repeatable things that you're consistently offering. So maybe let's use the candle company because I have a candle client as an example. Or actually, she's a ceramicist, but she really likes candles and she makes matcha bowls. So she's got a coffee company that she's going to partner with and doing activations. So she can say, I make the vessels, there's a bag of matcha that comes with you. We make the bowls, you get the whisk, you get all of the stuff. But what you're really paying for is the vessel. And now you've got these kind of wraparound ancillary things that you would be utilizing with it. She also gets to speak to another audience and she gets to have a higher price point on things, right? Or maybe she's working with a candle company. She makes the vessels, somebody else makes the candles, and they get to bundle it with the wick cutter and a USB candle lighter as this very like home cozy set. So she's not necessarily doing any more work. She's just taking the things that people want and putting them together and giving them that offering.
Yes, we love the idea of giving people choices. And to kind of tack on to that, how many bundles can you offer at one time to prevent that kind of decision fatigue? And really, when do you know that your tinkering has become too much?
Ooh. Okay, so in the same way that you have 3 to 5 goals, think about the value propositions of what you're offering, the why your customers are coming to you. Those should be table legs in the same regard, maybe 3 or 4. So you can make a bundle that goes around each of your core value propositions that you give to them, but I would not have this massive, massive, massive suite of bundles if you can help it. I would think about what's something that you do for everybody? What is the most entry level thing that you do, or what's the most entry level thing that you offer? You should take that and then bundle it with the next step up, right? So maybe if we're talking candles, you've got your regular size candle and you've got a travel candle. If we're talking about services, maybe for every project you do an audit or you do a short getting to know you project with everybody. And then on top of that, once you've done that, you say, I'm going to do a project and program for you, but audit first, and then I'm going to create a new scope of work once I've gotten inside and I understand your organization, and then I'm going to offer you something different. Or you're saying, you want me for 10 hours a week to do this work on a project base. You want me for 20 hours a week to do this to oversee a program, and you want me 40 hours a week to be embedded in your company to oversee the whole system and oversee your folks, right? So what I'm going to give you at 10 hours a week is not the same as what I'm going to give you at 20 hours a week, is not the same as what I'm going to give you as being embedded within your organization. I'm taking on now a whole role and function rather than providing you with just one specific service.
Love the idea of building as you go and as you get more information, of course. And so today we have a lot of solopreneurs, and they're interested in adding or optimizing their offerings, but currently do all of the service delivery on their own.
Mhm.
So wanted to ask how they can determine what to delegate and when to take steps to delegate so that they can grow and optimize.
Okay. Delegate earlier than you think you need to. The key things to delegate are the things you know you're not good at. Step one, delegate what is not in your wheelhouse. If marketing gives you hives, then figure out different ways to do that. I'm not saying that you need to go and hire a whole marketing agency. You might be looking at AI tools. You might be looking at something that can help you with your scheduling or planning, or someone who's creating templates for you. And you're just going in and you're having to put in a little bit of information there, but you're not having to think about all the ideas. You're not having to do all of the design work. They're telling you when you should be posting it. You're outsourcing that part of your brain space to somebody else who can do it for you. Leverage that at that point in time. But don't spend money until you have to. But you know, if it's jamming you up, if it's something you're not able to get to, then that's probably a great candidate for delegation.
Yes.
And then,
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry.
So,
I mean to
oh
cut
no,
you.
so looking at that, once you figure that out, with being a solo entrepreneur, it's probably even more important for you to figure out exactly what you're going to be the best at, exactly what you want to offer and how. I want you to think about how many hours a week are you able to dedicate to doing your work. That's not just work with your clients or for your customers, that's also your work internally inside of your business. Do you have 40 hours a week to do that? Are you thinking about how much you need to do and like have for the rest of your life? Are you working with people in person? Are you working with people remotely? Are you creating a service that's done with them, by them, or for them? When you figure out those stages of where you're going to be, you can really get settled and say, all right, hi, I'm Allison. I offer organizational design work, cultural design, product system service strategy, executive coaching, and leadership development. I don't do business development. I don't do sales. I can dabble in your marketing. I can dabble in your brand. I have all of these things. I have that background, but that's not the thing that I give to them. Just because I have the capacity and capabilities of doing things does not mean that I do them. I focus on the things that I really enjoy doing that give great value to my clients. And then I have friends or I have referrals or I have business partners that I can give them access to when they need that piece. So someone might say, Allison, here's this marketing strategy. Well, guess what? I'm not in Instagram or Meta ads every single solitary day of the week. I am not the person who knows all of those analytics forwards and backwards. I know enough about it to be very dangerous, but you're going to want to have that person who really focuses on that specific niche in that specific area doing that work rather than me trying to say, oh yeah, I can build out this strategy for you. No, I can't. No, I can't. You don't want me to do that. You want me to help you figure out what your business model is, how you want to design the systems, how you want to show up, what you're going to be utilizing, and what are the pieces and components that will lead to that. And then you're going to go somewhere else. So figure out what makes you happy. Because remember, this is your business. You are making the choice of doing what you want to do. You are making the choice of fulfilling that need or solving that problem. But be clear about where you can best solve that problem.
You've touched on something that we hear time and again, the importance of saying no and just really honing in on what it is that you are best able to provide. So thank you. We recognize that, of course, entrepreneurs, it's hard to say no, but it's important for the good of the business, right? So we do want to jump back to DADA
Yes.
very quickly. For those with tech-driven products like an app, how would using the data loop apply differently for that service or physical product than when it comes to a service-based business?
Oh, I love this. Okay. When you're using an app, think about the same thing. Is your app or technology in the business of collecting data? Are you scraping it? Are you a database? Are you somewhere where people are collecting that information? Do you help people synthesize their data easier in that analysis piece, right? You can upload your stuff in a CSV file and we will create reportings for you that will say you could take this route or you could take this path or this spaghetti model or something like that. That's what we provide. Or are you in the decision stage? You help them say, based upon the data that you fed to us, we can make these recommendations for you and we can give you steps to take to make these decisions, right? Here's how you should do this. Here's how you should think of this. And here's 3 core recommendations for you to take if you want to go ahead and take action on them.
Mm.
Or does your app help them to do the actions that they need to do, right? So you're thinking about where do you come in their journey, right? Are you helping them with their data collection? Are you helping them with their analysis? Are you helping them to make a decision or are you helping them to do their actions? So part of that is like, what is the app that I'm trying to do? What's the tech that I'm creating doing for people at each stage? What stage do we work in? Do I just do reporting? Do I just do data analysis? Is this something that you have to create for yourself? Or do I come with a bunch of ready-made templates for anybody to utilize so that they don't have to think about starting from scratch? I'm taking that cognitive load off of them, but they've already got a decision on something that they want to do.
That's wonderful. And so we are getting to our last question, I think,
Okay.
but a really important one. So when shifts in the economy are making customers nervous, do you have any tips on building strategy that considers that uncertainty, or that accounts for returns or just downtrends in general?
Absolutely. So when we see customers getting more nervous about spending or the economy or anything like this, it is on us as the business owners to understand and give them the information that they need to overcome those objections. We have to work even harder to inform them of the benefits, right? The features tell, but the benefits sell. So, how are you making these people's lives easier? When you think about what it is that you're offering, most of us operate as humans on our basic survival needs. We are looking for things that are going to help us survive at a base level. Does it feed me? Does it clothe me? Does it shelter me? If we can get those basic needs met, then we'll be able to do more. So, where are you? Is it the positioning that you have for your offering may change based upon how your customers are feeling, but it is your responsibility to say, I see that, I hear where your concerns are, and this is why we're still the best choice for you. Or maybe especially for those of us in the service type, we may not be the best choice for folks at that stage. You might be a great communications writer, but you don't focus on crisis communications. And so, hey, you know what? I can do all this work for you, but crisis isn't really our space. Here's the benefits of working with somebody who specializes in this. Or here's the benefits of what we have to offer. We know that budgets are tight. We know that money is tight here. By utilizing our product, we have, our candle has longer burn times than what you're going to get from Target or what you're going to get from this other type of company, where they only burn for 4 hours, we burn for 8 to 10 hours. So you're going to show that like this feature, but the benefit is you're going to get twice as much candle for half as much money, or for, whatever price you're looking at. So with the anxieties that people feel, you really just have to tell them, here's the benefits of utilizing us. Trust us, we hear you. And if you really need to, you make those adjustments or you make those concessions. Maybe how do you reduce your costs without sacrificing value? Maybe you reduce your packaging. Maybe you find something that's more eco-friendly. Maybe you look at your vendors or your suppliers to save those savings, pass those savings on to your folks who you're working with, to say, we understand this, we understand your economic anxiety. And so we've done some things on our back end to get savings and pass those along to you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that.